everyone, Eski here again to talk to you about practice. Now this isn't about your mechanics or where to position yourself like I've covered in the last few videos, but of a subject I think is a bit more important. There is a term that's used in the gaming community known as tilt. This is when the player becomes frustrated or angry, which causes them to make mistakes because of their emotional state. Today we'll be talking about what to do when you notice yourself beginning to tilt, as well as some mindsets to keep you on the track of improvement. This video will be going hand in hand with the last videos I've made, so if you haven't already, be sure to go back and check those videos out. Our warm-up today is focusing on aiming at strafing targets using the code A9FBX for about 3 to 5 minutes while we're talking. Now, why do we continue to practice mechanics when we're talking about tilt? Well, I've seen and experienced my fair share of being tilted from something as simple as missing shots. So let's make sure that we're able to make those shots to avoid a tilt factor. Mentality has a huge impact on your improvement as a player. It can be very easy to fall into a not productive mindset that is mostly negative towards yourself and the players around you. We'll start with identifying what our goal for practice is, making sure that as long as you are attempting to improve in whatever you are learning, there is no real failure. The next thing to keep in mind, especially when you're playing unranked or ranked matches, is to solely focus on what you're practicing on. What others say should be ignored. This also means that you should not flame other players for their play. A way to think about it is that each player has their own keyboard. You as one person can't control everyone else's movement, so why focus on it? It's better to focus on what you can do rather than what someone else is doing. Lastly, the best thing you can do to prevent tilt is to acknowledge when you're beginning to feel tilted. Being able to identify when you're feeling frustrated and taking a break as soon as possible is important. It not only helps with raging, but also decreases the possibility of burnout from practice and prevents habits that you may pick up from going on a tilt queue. Tilt can flare in a number of ways. Some behaviors can range from general frustration with the game, such as with lost streaks, to flaming or trash-talking others for their play. When I experience tilt, it's sort of a burning annoyance, but everyone has their own ways of feeling tilted. So keep an eye out for any of these feelings or actions. Now that we have reached the scrim with purpose section, remember what we talked about in drill 1? You need to, well, practice with purpose. A great way to make sure that you have a set goal in your practice is to write it on a sticky note and stick it to the bottom of your monitor. That way, you can see what you're working on whenever you're waiting in queue or even when you're waiting to respawn. This continues on to the next drill. For this, try and keep track of each time you are looking or judging somebody else's play. It can be very common for you to see someone else's mistakes and think something. While this is normal, try and let those thoughts pass so you can shift your mindset from looking outward at others and back inward towards what you're working on. And lastly, we can recall back to our last drill. Keep track of your emotions when you're playing. If you feel yourself beginning to rage or tilt in any way, it's okay to take an extended break after your game ends. Once you're on your break, do something that's not Overwatch related for about an hour. If you feel like practicing after, feel free to do so. Mentality is half the battle when it comes to getting productive practice. Today we covered ways to keep your practice focused on what you need to do, what to do when practicing among your peers, and what to do when you feel yourself beginning to tilt. Being able to master all of these things will help keep your mind on the grind. So until next time, this has been Eski with Game Gym. Like always, if you want to talk Overwatch, VOD review, or just hang out, feel free to leave a comment below or DM me on the Game Gym Discord. I hope to see you guys in the next video.